All right, good morning, everybody, on Tuesday, April 27th. I hope everybody is having a phenomenal start to their day. Hopefully today gets up into the 70s and everybody's able to get some fresh air, some fresh oxygen, go on a walk, play outside, do your thing. So enjoy the beautiful weather that we're about to embark on this week. But hey, I wanted to start the call a little bit different because we have a handful of guest speakers today, and I'm super stoked because it's going to be fast-paced and content-packed. But I'm going to jump right into it. And we're going to have a little bit of a coaching moment, coaching corner right up front. And I've asked Chris Ruskowitz to jump onto the call today because she made a post in the KW Pivot Shift Facebook group that garnered a lot of attention, and she's had a lot of success and results. So Chris, if you want to jump on, tell us a little bit about the letter that you sent out and the results that you had and what you saw from it.
Absolutely. Charlie, thanks so much for the opportunity to share. I really appreciate it. In a lot of the coaching that we're talking about, one of the things that we're missing is a call to action, or what Gary Keller calls MOFR, which is make offers for immediate response. So when I did the letter for my brewer schedules, very, very late, but hey, progress over perfection, I added language in there that was a really specific call to action. And the language I put in was: question for you. What's your magic number? What price would you need to get to sell your home to one of our buyers? You may very well be shocked at what your home is really worth in the current real estate market. So call or text if you know your magic number, or to have an equity analysis done on your home. And what's happened, because I changed the language from the golden letter that everybody else has been sending, because I said magic number, of which I have a lot of my past clients texting me, my magic number is this, and they're ridiculous LOL numbers, which is great because it's still communication with them. I am on the 5th contact I've gotten. I knew the day these were delivered because I started getting text messages. So I'm on my 5th lead. These are past clients. One is buying a second home in northern Wisconsin up to 800. I've already placed that referral. One property is already listed, and this just happened last week. I had another listing appointment last night. We're doing paperwork over the weekend. And I've got 2 more appointments, possibly 3, because now I had another inquiry. So I could get one nice outgoing referral and 4 listings out of this one letter.
And I think the thing here is it's simple, simple to the point. And you used an acronym up front, and I saw this on your post, MOFR. Remind the group, what is MOFR again?
Okay, MOFR is Gary Keller. It's on page 61 of the Red Book. It is make offers for immediate response. It's a call to action. If we don't ask them to connect with us, they may read it, but they're not going to respond. Most people won't respond. But by asking if you know your magic number, I did get other people to respond, but I'm still communicating with them and saying, hey, okay, maybe not you, but who else? Who else do you know that would want to know what their equity is and possibly sell their home to one of our buyers?
For sure. This is so simple. It's easy. How many of these letters did you send out to past clients, Chris?
I sent out 400 because this goes to my core group, is who the schedules went out to. And now I did order extra, and I'm sending them to my farm. Again, better late than never. We're a little bit busy, so progress over perfection, but I'm going to get, I've got another 300 going out to my farm area. I'll see what kind of results I get from that.
Totally. Guys, this is what I call old school ball. And people laugh about it all the time, but old school ball works. It is the blocking and tackling. It is the fundamentals. And I saw Chris post this in the Pivot Shift Facebook group, and I was like, man, we got to bring her on to give her perspective on what she did, why she did it, and the call to action: make offers for immediate response. So Chris, thank you for jumping on to share that little tidbit with our group this morning. And hopefully, guys, you took a little bit of insight away from old school ball. Still works. People laugh at it, but it works.
Got to build that foundation with the fundamentals.
Cool. Chris, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
For sure. So guys, in our follow-up on our insights and resources email, I'll make sure to include Chris's template and with her letter so that you can see exactly and you can replicate it, right? Rip off and duplicate if it so serves you and fits you. But you can see the results, 5 pieces of business from 400 letters that went out. Very, very simple, very, very effective. And if you really look at the ROI on that time and activity, it is incredible. So I wanted to leave with that up front as we ask Chris to jump on to share that, but be on the lookout for that in our Insights and Resources weekly email from Diana and I sometime this afternoon. All right, next up. One of the things that I wanted to share with our group is something that I don't believe that we talk about enough, and this is totally on me as a leader for not bringing this into the conversation for team meeting. But one of the things I wanted to really remind the group and settle the group into around what our mission, vision, values, belief system, and perspective is at KW. And the reason why I share this with you is I think our mission statement is so incredibly powerful. And the reason I'm going to read this to you now is it's going to lead to a conversation that we're going to have next. And when you really think about what is our mission statement in this business and partnering with Keller Williams, our mission statement is very clear and very concise. It is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. Right? And I'm going to read that to you again. Our mission statement at Keller Williams is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. And the reason why I'm leading up front with this in team meeting this week is we have a very important mission coming up. And on May 13th, we are celebrating Red Day. And for those of you who are either newer to Keller Williams or unfamiliar with what Red Day is, it is all around throwing our weight and support around our community to create donations, to renew, to energize, right? Red Day is renew, energize, and donate. And we do so many things throughout the year. And 365 days a year, we do so many different things for so many different philanthropic organizations. But it's the one day where we stop everything, the offices close, and we get out in support of various other organizations. I'm going to play for you a quick little video that KW put out as it relates to Red Day to kind of share in the experience and the momentum and energy of what is Red Day and why do we get behind Red Day. So take a look. One sec. Here we go. So guys, Red Day is all around throwing our support around the area. And what I'm super stoked to share with you is the concept of what Red Day is for us in Milwaukee this year. And this year, we're going to be giving back to 4 organizations. But to kind of give you a sense of energy of what it's like, here's an example of some things in years past. Last year, the North Shore Group successfully led the largest virtual donation food drive for the River West Food Pantry in River West Food Pantry's history. I believe we donated over 10,000 pounds of food to the River West Food Pantry last year in the middle of the pandemic and everything that was going on. Here's some years past of things when we went up to the Schlitz Audubon Center where we helped out at Habitat for Humanity. Right, here's the Lake Country crew that went out and helped Boys and Girls Club at Camp Whitcomb Mason. And then here was a couple years ago when we were building houses with Habitat for Humanity in the Midtown 100 district. And this year, A lot of things have been going on, and we're super stoked to support 4 incredible organizations. And one of those organizations is jumping on with us this morning. And so I want to give an introduction to Mr. Bob. And Mr. Bob's Under the Bridge, serving our community and helping those in need within the homeless community. So Mr. Bob, welcome to KW Milwaukee's team meeting. Thank you for jumping on.
Thank you for having me this morning, Charlie. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us a little bit about your organization and who you serve within our community and how we can help you.
You bet. I guess I'll start out with just a real quick history about Mr. Bob's. When I was younger, in my younger days, I grew up on the east side of Milwaukee. And back then, both parents worked, and we were dispatched to the Girls and Boys Club on Fratney and Brady. And in that trip over there from where we lived, we went across the Holton Street Bridge almost every day. And I got to know and be friends with some of the homeless population that lived under that bridge at a very young age. And it always intrigued me and the question I've always asked and still ask is, how do you do it? How do you live on the streets 24/7? Doesn't make any difference how cold it is. Doesn't make any difference how hungry you are, but how do you do it? And over the last 14 years that Mr. Bob's has been in existence, we've gotten a lot of answers for that. So our history starts a little bit, just to give an example, that I think always has stuck in the back of my head. How can I serve? And, the mission of Mr. Bob's is to serve. Even though it's the homeless population that we concentrate on, but that's not to mean on a Saturday morning that when we do our outreach that there's not people from other parts of society that come and visit us also. So we started out with 6 backpacks. My wife and I put 6 backpacks together, and I was on a mission to go hand those out in the city to the homeless population that I could find. My 6 backpacks were gone in about 15 seconds. So I knew there was just an absolute need. And I started asking friends and family, hey, could you donate some blankets or some socks or gloves? And all of a sudden my garage was full. And I didn't really know where to go with that, but I kept packing up my little SUV and going into the city and visiting vacant warehouses, under bridges, parks, you name it, and really made one-on-one contact with a lot of the friends that I still have today. So that really is what started it. Over the years, we started out with that SUV, then we bought a little 6-foot trailer. As we moved on, we bought a 12-foot trailer and kept packing it up. And our first mission was at Cathedral Square Park, where I had visited with some friends of mine one afternoon down there and said, guys, I'm going to start coming to this park every Saturday morning, and you bring your friends and we're going to take care of your needs, whatever you need, whether that's blankets, food, underwear, you name it. We would try to have it all on. The first Saturday, I'll never forget, it was 6 people, and it just grew from there. Next Saturday, it was 18 people. And all of a sudden I thought, wow, the population is incredible. And how can we get involved in this? How can we help? So in the beginning, our help was to serve, to make sure that every person that came through either our line or that we made contact with, that they knew that somebody cared. And that's always been my mission, always will be my mission with the volunteers that we have today is, make sure that when they leave that they know somebody cared about them today. It may be for a very, very short time, but it's very important for me to understand that our friends are living on the streets without any care, other than the people that surround them. And our Saturday mornings are very important for that. So as time went on, our numbers just kept increasing to the point now where we're serving about 125 people on a Saturday morning, every Saturday morning, 52 weeks a year. A lot goes into those Saturday mornings. Of course, we have a Thursday night sorting that we would love volunteers for. Where the clothes and items that come in, we sort them and then we set them up for distribution on Saturday morning. So that's a real important part. Saturday morning is the fun part. Thursday nights is the work part, as you can imagine. So as time went on, we've moved a couple parks. We moved from Cathedral Square to a little park down in downtown Milwaukee. And now we've kind of planted our home at Kosciuszko Park, which is on 7th and Lincoln. And we've been there for approximately 6 years now. Love that population over there. They are very gracious and very respectful of us as we are of them. And we're able to help. I think that's the big thing. Is it's not about just handing out clothes and hygiene and that type of thing, but it's also to help them try to get into housing in some way, shape, or form. We've been fairly successful at that. I'm not going to say that we've been able to house everybody that's on the streets. It's a rough. It's really very difficult to go through that procedure because a lot of times they don't have phones. It's hard to get a hold of them, hard to hunt them down. But we work hard at it every week, and I work hard throughout the week to see if we can, continue down that road. A couple of things that have happened, which I'm very excited about, and I want to share with you, is my dream was always that our friends on the streets were always needed showers. So in 2019, we started talking about a shower trailer, and we just started talking about it. We didn't go look for government grants. We didn't look for grants of any type. And we talked to people and said, what do you think of this? And we were able to purchase a Ford stall portable shower trailer that we pull with a pickup truck. And it was the first time we used it. And as I tell everybody, this isn't Mr. Bob's shower trailer. It's whoever wants to use it. We've been in Madison, Racine. We're looking to go up into the Green Bay area for a day or two sometime in the summer. So we want to share this with anybody who needs it. Any agency that is out there that may need that shower trailer for a weekend or something like that, we would be happy to share it with them. I think the most exciting part for me was to watch that first person come out of the shower. It brought tears to my eyes because I've never seen anybody so happy in their life to get that warm shower and not be limited to time, and to come out of there and say, this is the best thing that's happened to me in 2 weeks. So I was sold at that point. I knew the thing was going to fly. So on average, we probably shower in season now. We'll get going May 1st again. With COVID and everything, we did have to shut it down for a certain period of time, but we are going to get back full-blown showers again May 1st. That's our target goal if the weather stays the way it is. And we'll shower anywhere from 25 to 50 people on a Saturday. Just depends on how the weather is and that type of thing. The second thing is we were just very, very blessed to be able to move into our own facility on January 1st over in the Ozaki Nonprofit Center, which is over in Grafton. The Ozaki Nonprofit Center has a building that they cater and only want nonprofit organizations in. It gives us the opportunity to spread out. We have about 2,500 square feet. I welcome any of you that are in that area or in Ozaki or Washington County, come and visit us. It's just been a fabulous extra for us. I guess we were working out of a church basement for so long and not knowing where anything was that we finally got ourselves organized, and it's working well. We got some tweaking to do, but like with any new venture, you got to kind of feel, you got to walk before you can run. So
totally. And
very,
Bob, how can our community of real estate associates that are really here to serve you're one of our selected organizations this year to really focus on what's your greatest need and how can we help you over the course of the next 3 to 4 weeks?
Well, number one, we are always looking for volunteers, right? I mean, and you can go on our website, MrBobsUnderTheBridge.org, all spelled out, and sign up to volunteer if you'd like. Of course, as you can see in this I think the biggest thing that we need this time of year is men's pants, socks, and new underwear. The things that cost us out-of-pocket expenses are those things. Now, we necessarily don't go out and buy men's pants. Normally those are donated, but for the last couple of weeks here, we just haven't been able to get any. Excuse me 1 minute. So we're working on that. And of course it's seasonal. I mean, this time of year we'd like to have t-shirts and that type of thing. And then in the winter we go back to the winter stuff. Our biggest need in the winter, and it's not to say that we can't start stockpiling that now because we have the warehouses long underwear. That again is an expense that we wish we didn't have to have, but we do. So if anybody wants to do a long underwear drive, that would be great. I just saw a thing here. Actually, we're good on towels and soaps and that because our trailer was shut down for a while. We were able to stock up on that. So at this point, we're good. We will always take, though, any type of motel or hotel size shampoos and that, because we do hand out a hygiene bag to every person on Saturday mornings. So I would say, we'd love to have volunteers. We'd love to have those items that are listed here, but in a seasonal fashion, so we don't get overwhelmed with winter stuff this time of year. And of course, monetary donations are, we always make sure that goes to the right place, and those are accepted also.
Well, Mr. Bob, thank you for jumping on. And
No
guys,
problem.
what we will do in OTU to help you get a clear direction in terms of how you can leverage your database, right? I mean, I just think of, if we have 300 people across our organization in the 3 locations, and each of you have 500 people on the very conservative side in your database, we can touch 150,000 people in southeastern Wisconsin with the story and message of Mr. Bob serving under the bridge. And how can we help the community, the homeless community in and around the greater Milwaukee area? So be on the lookout for more details from us in the ways in which that you can leverage this organization to help tell their story within the community.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Bob, thank you for coming on and telling your story and for allowing us to give back to your group and your organization.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for picking us, and look forward to seeing some of you.
Yeah, and guys, big shout out to Kristen Schlingman, who created the introduction for us to Mr. Bob and his organization. We were wrapping our heads around what we wanted to do from a Red Day perspective. So, Mr. Bob, thank you.
Have a great day.
Cool, you too. All right, next up, we're very fortunate as well. I would say in 2021, not many organizations are allowing in-person volunteering, but we also had an incredible KW associate, Kevin Matson, who used to be a special education teacher, has connected us with Zacharias Acres out in the Lake Country area. Indeed, I'm going to have you jump on to give us the introduction as to what's going on with Zacharias Acres with our group for anybody who wants to volunteer on May 13th.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie. And thank you for the Under the Bridge. That's super exciting. You guys, I'm not quite sure how to follow that, but there are so many worthy causes out there right now. And last year was hard on so many places. We're privileged to have the opportunity to help as many as we are. So I want to highlight this one out in Lake Country as we kind of reflect on what happened last year when things got dicey inside. Most of us were able to go outside for a walk or a run or to the park with our families to kind of get some downtime and experience nature and feel good. Think about those families with special needs and places where they can't always go. It's not accessible. It's not a safe space for them. It just kind of brings tears to my eyes that we have those kind of limitations for people. So Zacharias Acres is an opportunity that is addressing that out in Lake Country. It's a group that set aside about 48 acres for families and kids with special needs to be able to get outside, experience nature, see the beauty and wonder of this amazing creation that we live in. And it changes lives and creates education. So on May 13th, we're all going to be out there gussying it up a bit. If you were with us a couple years ago at Camp Whitcomb-Mason, it's kind of the same idea, right? We're going to be gardening. We're going to be making those paths, fixing them so that they have an accessibility opportunity where people can get around. We're going to be cleaning the buildings. It's from 9 to 4. You can sign up for particular times. You don't need to commit to the whole day. You can come in shifts. Just super excited to be spreading the word of this phenomenal charity. and just super excited to be together with our people, shoulder to shoulder, bringing, spreading goodness and love in the community. So Zacharias Acres, and thank you, Kevin Matson, for sharing this with us.
Cool. DH, thank you for the introduction. And guys, as I stated before, we will make sure that we get you all the details as it relates to how you can directly help both organizations, whether it's in person with Zachariah Acres or how we will be collecting items and what items we will be collecting throughout the next several weeks at all of our locations for Mr. Bob's Under the Bridge. Cool. So be on the lookout for more details that we will be communicating out this week, exactly how you can get involved and how you can leverage your database to give back to our communities. So, all right, cool. All right, upcoming training and events. We are excited to roll out a handful of stuff. And as a reminder, guys, there's a ton of stuff on the live streams this week. There was on Monday, there was keeping buyers motivated with scripts. There's so many good things. Get back to the basics with the lead generation model at noon on Wednesday. I just want to make sure that you guys are paying attention to the incredible stuff that we have going on as a live stream. And I know I keep hammering this home, but it amazes me how many people are still not paying attention to it. Couple things as well locally, whether you want to start a team, whether you lead a team as a rainmaker, or you are a support and success staff on one of our incredible teams in the Milwaukee area. We have heard you, and we are going to bring the Loken Group. We have the five leaders of the Loken Group's administrative success team is coming into mastermind with anybody in Milwaukee tomorrow at 10 a.m. So I will be facilitating the conversation of how this group closed $650 million last year. 1 year, one real estate team in Houston, Texas. They were number one in Houston, number 6 in all of number 6 team in all of America. They were the number one team in all of KW. Julia and I jumped on a call with these 5 individuals yesterday morning to kind of right-size the conversation. And they're going to talk about their systems, their processes, how they keep their teams engaged when everybody's working remotely. They're going to pour into you guys. So guys, come with questions. They are here to serve. They're going to show you their flow charts, their systems, their models, whatever it is that you need to know in order to scale a really big business. These guys are pouring into our group in Milwaukee tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So join the conversation that I will be leading with the Loken Group out of Houston, Texas. Cool. All right, May training calendar just announced, brand new, fresh, hot off the press. Shout out to Julia Ola for helping us pull this together. What you see here in May, we're going to be focused on a couple things. One, we're going to help you overcome any objections, and we're going to help you win the listings. So what you'll find here the first couple weeks in May, Janine and Jay are going to come over, or going to do a Zoom around how they overcome listing objections. You have objections that you're getting in the marketplace. You need to learn how to defend your commission. You need to know how to get a BAC fee. Come watch Jay and Janine banter back and forth. As Jay always says, bring your objections. He loves to handle them. Then on Thursday, the 6th, we're not going for Cinco de Mayo. We're going for Seis de Mayo out in Lake Country. What we're going to start doing is we're going to have a select handful of events of bringing people back together in a safe environment outdoors. But we're going to try and really begin to start to cultivate and curate that culture and community that we so strive for, that we've really a lot of KW associates have been begging for. So in the month of May, we have the food truck tour. So on May 6th, it'll be out in Lake Country from 3 to 5 p.m. It'll be out on Innovation Drive in Tosa from 11 to 1 on Friday, May 14th. So come get some lunch. And then May 26th, the week, Wednesday heading into Memorial Day weekend, come have lunch in the North Shore from 11 to 1. And then if you want to make a stop at all 3, phenomenal, do it. But Pedro's food truck, it's a phenomenal, we've had them before, incredible food truck. Again, we want to cultivate and curate that culture and community as things begin to open back up. Handful of other things, as we kind of mentioned earlier today, KW Red Day is happening on May 13th. Be on the lookout for more details from us this week. And then an awesome opportunity. If for those of you who want to learn how to leverage the profit share game at the highest level, we have Aaron Kaufman coming to teach a class to KW Milwaukee virtually from 2 to 4 p.m. called the KW Effect. Many people, we have had Aaron back in the Milwaukee area many times before. He's a phenomenal speaker. He really helps you break down the KW business model and the why behind partnering with KW to help you leverage the opportunity of KW profit share. Reminder, guys, profit share is up 192% this year. There is an unbelievable payouts being made. If you want to leverage it, I would mark your calendars from 2 to 4 p.m. on Tuesday, May 18th for the class with Aaron Kaufman. And then finally, 2 other things I want to point out. Be a Boss, 10 Secrets of a Mega Administrative Assistant from 9 to 11:30 on 2 days on Wednesday, May 19th and Wednesday, May 20th. A phenomenal class on, again, if you're looking to build a big team and you come into tomorrow's mastermind with the Loken Group and it sparks an interest in you and you want to learn more, or you're a little bit struggling with how to best create leverage within your business or how to lead a leverage team, there's a phenomenal training coming up in May. And then Maureen and friends saved the date, May 21st on Friday morning at 10 a.m. So be on the lookout. Big shout out to Julia Ola for pulling together an unbelievable opportunity for so many things locally that we can bring to you to help serve your business. And at the same time, we have a phenomenal, I believe, 4 opportunities between the food truck days as well as KW Red Day to get back to cultivating and curating our culture and environment that makes KW so great and the people that we all work with so incredible. So be on the lookout here. And then as a reminder, here's the taco food truck with Pedro's coming in Lake Country at Innovation over in Tosa and in North Shore from 11 to 1. So be on the lookout. Big shout out to Jenny Klug, Andrea Bell from Focus Title for helping us pull that together. All right, Tech Tuesdays, and I'm going to kind of lead with a little bit of a Tech Tuesday update for you, and it's going to be around command stability, right? And we were on a call yesterday, Lindsay and I, and we were focused on command, and we were looking and learning around the stability issues that we've seen, and there's been a massive improvement in the first quarter of 21. And so I want to provide this to you for an update for true line of sight and transparency and communication. When you look at this is the overall support ticket volume from March of last year to today, right? Well, through April, essentially, right? And if you look at it just from an overall support ticket volume, you can see a massive drop in overall support tickets that have been opened with KWRI. And for many of you probably are like, okay, what does a support ticket even mean? Just know this is a lot of the stuff that Lindsay works on in the background to help identify bugs to create more stability within the platform. And you can see in the month of April so far, there has been a significant reduction in the focus around stability of the platform. And know that it is the #1 focus item for KWRI to continue to build stability. And one of the first things they look at is overall support ticket volume. Next up is how do we solve the bugs when they show up? And again, this is going back to February, March, April to date, May, June, and you can see support requests awaiting bug fixes within the platform, you can see is dramatically being reduced. And again, their entire goal of being on the 66-day challenge of stability and the new leadership that they've brought in around command is to provide stability so that it is a reliable tool for you and your business. And then the last thing is the median on hold time for support tickets related to bugs. So this is the lag time in terms of when a support ticket is submitted and when it is fixed. And going back to March of last year, you can see some of these support tickets on average were open for almost a month at a time. Now sitting here in January, February, and March, it went from 9 days, 9 days, 4 days. So you can see, again, the stability in the platform is improving and getting dramatically better. And I give this to you as partners, right? You choose to partner with KW. We need to be a good partner for you. And we need, and trust me, we push hard back. Both Lindsay and I and Diana are pushing hard on these guys to make sure that the platform works the way you need it to work for your business. And a big portion of that is stability. And it is a big focus in 21. So I wanted to provide line of sight to you guys as your partners to show you that we are working on it. It is improving dramatically and that we will continue to push as an organization against KWRI to ensure that the platform is what you need it to deliver on. So with that, I'm going to turn it over for Lindsay for Tech Tuesdays, who's going to give us an update around Facebook ad campaigns to challenge your thoughts and to plant a seed around lead generation. Lindsay, it's off to you.
All right. Thank you, Charlie. So we're back at it with Facebook ad campaigns. That's the topic for this week's tech workshops. And so I've done trainings with this before with this topic, but this week I really want to focus on capturing those high quality leads. So the focus is on quality and not quantity. So we're going to be talking about a few different options with the different content that you can post for those Facebook ad campaigns. And so just one of those options with content is to use your agent website and app to capture those high quality leads. And there's so many different options that you can use from your website and from your KW app. And one of those is just highlighting a specific neighborhood. And that's really just going to establish yourself as the local expert. And within that, you can talk about commute times. You can talk about nearby schools, local businesses. And so the example that I have on the screen here, so it starts out, commuting to work shouldn't take up a chunk of your day. That's why we put together a list of homes for sale in, let's say, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Close to downtown. There's so many different examples that I'm going to share today. And so really the point of tech workshops is to get you starting to create these ads and start running them. And so just a few other examples. You can talk about, there's so many different ways to capture buyers. With those, talking about those neighborhoods and highlighting those commute times, highlighting why people want to live in that area. And the easiest thing that you can do and how you can actually capture what you see on the screen with these examples is you're just going to do a search on your agent website and you're going to take a screenshot of that map. And that's the image that you're going to plug into the ad. And then that follow-up destination URL is going to be that link to your website with that search that you created. So it's super simple to create this content. It's just putting it into action by creating that Facebook ad campaign. And so again, just a couple other examples, talking about that specific neighborhood. Why do you want to live in that neighborhood? Okay, what homes are for sale there? Commute times. It's only a 20-minute drive to downtown Milwaukee from Mequon. And so many different examples here. And I think I have even more on the next slide. Obviously listings attract more of those quantity of leads. So this is just an excellent example of just content that you can create. So if you're kind of stuck in, okay, I want to create an ad, but I don't know what to post, you can talk about more of like, okay, luxury at a great price. That's just one example. You can talk about promoting your Keller Williams consumer app. Download today and explore like you never have before. And these images that you see here in that second ad, those are all within designs. So it's not like you're creating this, you're just pulling it and plugging it into that ad campaign. So next slide, Charlie. So there are just so many examples of Keller Williams agents, both in our market centers and across the country that are using these, that are seeing results. And so these are just two recent examples. And if anyone follows Nick Baldwin, you've probably seen this already. So Nick Baldwin is a regional tech director, agent. He does a lot of trainings on YouTube. You can follow his channel. But he's talking about just recently, he's captured 2.7 million in potential business just by setting appointments in the last 90 days through Facebook ad campaigns. And the second example, this is another Keller Williams agent in Texas. He followed kind of a couple examples that Nick Baldwin posted. He ran an ad for $30 for 5 days. He got 1,444 impressions, 49 clicks, just one lead, but it was a quality lead. And so he had a 15-minute conversation and she's a $350,000 buyer the next 3 months. So it's worth it. And again, $30 for 5 days, you don't even have to spend that much. The great thing about it is it's such a great, effective tool in command to capture those leads, even if they're leads that you're not reaching, or they're not following up with you, or they're not, you don't have that met yet, there's still a lead in your database with the potential of converting them into a client down the road. So again, it's a great tool, you guys. If you haven't used this, or if you have and you just want to think about and brainstorm some other ideas for content that you can include in those ads, come today. Tech training is out in Wauwatosa, the Innovation Drive office at 1 o'clock. So again, in person in Tosa today at 1. And then same thing in Lake Country at 11 o'clock after productivity on Thursday. And you guys, if you are unable to make in-person training, the tech training is up on our YouTube channel. So it's going to be the same process, just walking through how to create that ad. And reach out to me if you want some examples. And again, I can always sit down one-on-one with you and we can walk through that process.
Lindsay is an incredible resource for you. She is the definition of leverage to help you leverage your lead generation. Learn how to do it, right? You can give a man a fish he eats for a day. Teach a man a fish he eats for a lifetime. Learn to fish with Lindsay. Cool, guys. All right. Now I'm going to introduce the sheriff, Mrs. Joan Read, who is back from a revitalizing trip down in Naples, Florida. The sheriff, I am turning it over to you. What do these guys need to do, or what do they need to know to help them mitigate liability and exposure?
Good morning. Thank you, Charlie. Yeah, I'm in kind of still a relaxed mode here. But I do want to bring up the topic of fair housing, since it is still Fair Housing Month in this month of April. It's something that we should all be aware of 12 months a year. But what I wanted to concentrate on this morning was basically preventing implicit bias, especially in the search with your buyers. And so just some points to remember. I think we can go to the next one. Yeah, I have 6 steps to try to keep your search unbiased. All of your services, no matter who you're working with, should be uniform, consistent, and objective. And if you can just implant those 3 words in your brain, whenever you're working with a buyer in a search, make sure that it's the same, it's consistent, and it is objective. And use the systems that we have to qualify buyers and match them to properties. Have a standard list of questions that you ask all buyers. For example, their price, how they are qualified for financing, the neighborhood amenities, distance from work. Those are all objective, consistent points that you want to get from your buyers in setting up their search. Go to the next one. Make sure that when you are setting up a search with your buyers, do you provide a variety of properties and neighborhoods, and you let them decide where to live, keeping your opinions out of the information. Avoid giving personal opinions about community, area, schools. And I underline schools for a reason. It is sort of a hidden way of steering sometimes, whether, again, it's intentional or not intentional. But highlighting a school over another school, even if you went to one school and the other school was your competitor in football, the idea of comparing schools is something that you should be really eliminating from your conversation with buyers, because it is a way of bias steering in a sense. But instead, give a guide to the buyers on the third-party resources. There are places where they can check out school ratings, crime statistics, demographics, but all you can do is obtain and provide that objective information. And I want to go back to what Lindsay was saying about the creating those ads for neighborhoods. That is a perfect example of providing objective information on neighborhoods so that your buyer has as much information as possible to make their choice. And that is what fair housing choice is. It's the buyer's choice and not yours. And another caution, always document the service that you provided. I'll go to the next one on this. And this is the final point on this. Bias can be real or innate. It can be intended or unintended, but what matters is how it's received. And that's the key point. You're not really sure how your information or lack of information is being received, and that is where a fair housing violation can stem from. Keep your practice and your reputation professional. Now, the NAR has started this Fair Haven Realty. It's an interactive training program. I did it last week. You want to go to the posters, the best. next. You just check in through Fairhaven Realty. You can go find it in the WRA.org or visit fairhaven.realtor. It's very interactive. It takes about 40 minutes or so, but it's kind of an interesting test to you on what your response is and then what suggested responses would be. After you take the test, your name is put on the WRA Wisconsin list of graduates of Fairhaven. And I double checked and yep, my name's there. But unfortunately, there aren't too many Keller Williams names there yet. So let's get a lot of good participation in this Fairhaven.realtor interactive training program. I really recommend it. Now, one more
Totally
thing.
agree. And guys, we will make sure to include the link directly to this in our Insights and Resources weekly email that goes out this afternoon.
Good.
All right, Joan, wrap it up. One last thing. We had an
One
interesting
last thing.
conversation yesterday with the MLS.
Right. We had, Charlie had conversations with MLS, as sort of an ongoing conversations with MLS.
I think I talk to him daily.
Right. One of the points that is up at issue right now is putting in comments about when the offers are to be received, when they're going to be presented. Back and forth with MLS, they said that the best solution is to put no comments in the remarks. And I sort of agree with that, about when the offer is going to be reviewed or when offers are due or things like that. But there are some times when you want to do that, the seller asks for that. If you do it, we recommend the following verbiage, and that gives open to the seller's request. You can't be dictating to the seller how they want to sell their house. But this verbiage, MLS, and we have suggested that this is the alternative to no comments. And its seller has asked the binding acceptance for all offers to be at a particular date at this time, like Sunday, the 26th at 6 p.m. And then seller also reserves the right to accept an offer earlier. And that is giving homage to the seller to be able to sell his house as he wants. So no later than this date at this time, but also be aware that the seller can accept an offer earlier. So if you have a good offer, get it in early. But we would suggest the best thing is to put no comments in the remarks and let the free and open market decide what the best offer is for your seller.
Yeah, guys, one of the things I do want to reiterate is I'm not sure that many people are aware the MLS is fining agents if they are putting in the private remarks that they are reviewing offers at such date and time, and then if an offer is accepted in advance of those what was stated in private remarks, the MLS is fining agents. So if you choose to make private remarks, one of the things that Joan and I really want to stress to this group is you want to make sure that you are also adding the sentence around seller reserves the right to accept an offer earlier. This has been approved by MLS, the czars at the MLS. And we want to make sure that we're helping you mitigate any exposure you may potentially have to any fines. And again, the first recommendation would be to make no comment in the private remarks of when offers are being reviewed. But if you are going to submit an offer or make a private remark, making sure that you are noting that the seller reserves the right to accept something sooner. So again, we see a lot of stuff. We want to really mitigate any sort of exposure or potential for fines for you guys with the MLS. And if you have any questions, concerns, or something just doesn't feel right as it relates to something with the MLS, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help be a conduit in the conversation with MLS. As the market has borne some funky behavior within our industry, I want to make sure that we are being proactive in a lot of things as it relates to our relationship with the MLS to ensure you guys aren't getting in any sort of trouble or costing you any sort of money, hard-earned money. So don't hesitate to reach out to myself, Joan, Steph. We're here to help and really serve as you serve your guys. So. All right, cool. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up. A few market insights for you. And I want to give you something from Showing Time. And this is total North America. You know, I started looking at this last night and it was interesting. The buyer demand, one of the things we keep hearing about nationally, whether you read any sort of publication in Wall Street Journal, New York Times, the Milwaukee Journal, Sentinel, is everybody's talking about the housing market, housing market, housing market. Well, interestingly enough, across North America, the buyer demand in terms of showing activity it's pretty similar across North America, pretty similar to what it was in 2019. You can obviously see the dip that was caused last spring through everything that went through, but the buyer demand really hasn't changed a whole lot in North America. One of the things that I do want to point out to this group, though, is when you compare North America to the state of Wisconsin, you can see that there is a dramatic difference between the demand in buyer activity versus 2019. And you can see 2019 is right here, this soft blue line. There is a significant gap between the demand in the state of Wisconsin versus what we're seeing nationally. So there is a lot more demand pressures being placed in our market locally than there are nationally. The other thing I would point out to this group too, is if you just compare it, really just a comparison's sake, across North America last year, the industry as a whole really fell off in the months of March, April, May. And it came back really through post-Memorial Day across the country. But you can see the dip that happened in 2020 with what we are now hurdling in the spring of 2021 was not nearly as severe or significant as it was across the country. And so I tell you that to say, the forces at play right now in the market that we're facing is really simply Econ 101 and the supply demand factors. And you can see even when you compare last year and everything that went on last year and how quickly that our market rebounded, we are in a very, very fortunate position in the state of Wisconsin to be where we are. And there continues to be strong factors at play that I believe will remain a strong residential real estate market for the continuous future. When you look at it here, sales absorption rate, again, really strong week. Last week, 16.5%. It was the second highest mark in 2021. So again, we're right in the heat of the spring market. Here, when you look at units that went under contract, again, second highest mark of 2021. It's 618 units that went under contract last year. Again, last week, not last year, last week. Really, really strong. April is going to be a really, really strong month. And looking in, again, units going under contract is what's indicative of what will close in May and June. And then as you see here, new inventory units, we took a little bit of a dip last week. But one of the things I want to point out is, last week the industry took 528 new units. But one of the things that we need to stay positive on is it relates to our commentary with our buyers and keeping our buyers motivated and in the market. And what they need to know is we've had 8 weeks in a row of 500 plus new units to the market. And if you look back to the previous, even going back to November of last year, we never had a week over the last, let's just call this 12-week window where we were above 500 units. So the reason why I share this with you is we got to keep our buyers motivated and we got to share with them nuggets of information that keep them engaged in the marketplace. And so what you need to know is we've had 8 weeks of positive 500 new units to the market. And over that same 8-week period, it provided a net positive 450 total inventory. So what this means is the units that went under contract minus the new unit inventory, it was a net positive 450 units. Again, it's small, but it's positive momentum. And then lastly, here as it relates to total inventory, we made some small gains here in the beginning of April. We took a little bit of a dip here last week. It was the first dip we've taken in 3 weeks. Again, small incremental gains were lost. 1 week is an anomaly, 2 weeks is a trend. So something I'm paying attention to because again, I'm trying to give you the positive momentum to give your buyers and to keep your buyers engaged. Everybody knows how to talk to their sellers. Everybody knows what's going on in the market. Everybody's an educated essentially seller, for lack of a better terms. But what I'm trying to do is I'm going to continue to give you some nuggets to keep your buyers. And seeing that it is April 27th, I will have April's results, I believe, hopefully Monday or Tuesday. And if not, it'll be the following week to give you an indication of how the first trimester of the year wrapped up. What did April look like? And I'll make sure to update the grocery store script for the group. So guys, that's it. We have a phenomenal May training calendar. We have an incredible mastermind with the Loken Group tomorrow at 10 a.m. I cannot be more excited to get people together to celebrate Red Day, to give and serve our community, right? We are in the business at KW. Our mission statement is to have careers worth having, lives worth living, legacies worth leaving, guys. And that's what it's all about. Lake Country crew, I will let you jump over to the Lake Country Meetup. North Shore crew, give me about 30 seconds and I will switch over to new listings and buyer needs to recap. Guys, have a great day. Thanks for jumping on. We appreciate your time and effort.